Let's turn back the clock more than a decade. It was an era before the smartphone had truly taken over the world, and Twitter was still in its infancy. In Japan, the center of the internet was undoubtedly the massive text board known as 2-channel. Specifically, the News for VIP board was home to the Vipers, a chaotic collective of users known for their unique culture and overwhelming ability to mobilize. They spent their days patrolling the sea of the internet, always looking for the next Matsuri festival, or in internet terms, the next big raid. June 6, 2008. A perfect target for these digital marauders was about to quietly open its doors on the peaceful, child-friendly site, Yahoo! Kids? To celebrate the release of that summer's movie, Pokémon, Giratina and the Sky Warrior, a special project was launched, the Pokémon Popularity Poll. The lineup included the movie star, the adorable Shaman. The legendary Pokémon gracing the cover, Giratina. And of course, the immovable king of popularity, Pikachu, along with the fan favorite Piplup. Amongst these superstars, tucked away in a corner of the list, was a Pokémon that made a metallic, mechanical sound. Pokédex number 081. The magnet Pokémon, Magnemite. In this place where children were supposed to innocently vote for Shaman or Pikachu with sparkling eyes, no one, not the adult administrators, nor the children themselves, could have predicted that this plain, inorganic magnet would become the protagonist of an uproar that would engulf the entire Japanese internet. It all began on the night of June 6, right after the voting started. A single thread was created on the VIP board. Let's vote Magnemite to number 1 on Yahoo Kids and make the little brats cry. The proposal was simple yet diabolical. The goal was to hack a ranking enjoyed by pure-hearted elementary schoolers using the dirty tactic of organized voting. They wanted to force the uncute, uncool Magnemite into first place and confuse the children by making the prize, a digital wallpaper, an image of a floating magnet. It was a prank that condensed the malice and humor of the internet into one singular act. At first, the reaction from the board residents was lukewarm. Doing this again? Who even cares about Magnemite? But then, one user posted a strategy that changed everything. Hey, if you delete your cookies, you can vote infinitely. The voting system at the time relied on browser cookies to track whether a user had voted. This meant that simply by clearing your browser history, you could vote again from the same computer. Once, twice, 1,000 times. The moment this gaping security hole was discovered, the switch was flipped for the Vipers. It's a festival. Spam F5. Click until your mouse breaks. And thus, the night of the barrage began. Just 15 minutes after the thread was created, the vote count for Magnemite, which had been hovering near the bottom, began to move erratically. 10:09 p.m., 98 votes. 10:17 p.m., 453 votes. 10:22 p.m., 1,166 votes. The numbers were increasing by the second. Popular Pokémon like Pikachu and Piplup were overtaken one by one, crushed by the sheer violence of numbers. And then, just 30 minutes after the operation began, the moment arrived. Shaman, the movie's protagonist who had been leading the pack, fell. At the summit of the glittering Yahoo! Kids ranking screen, the expressionless Magnemite now reigned supreme. The thread erupted in celebration. First place, let's go. Japanese summer, Magnemite summer. Are the kids crying yet? LOL, their ambition only escalated. First place isn't enough. Let's fill second and third place too. They designated their next targets, the equally plain Evolution Magnezone, and the fossil Pokémon Shieldon. The plan was to monopolize the top ranks with boring, brown and gray Pokémon, forcing the children to receive wallpapers they didn't even want. It was a shift to a total domination strategy. As the festival heated up, the battle evolved from manual labor to technological warfare. Programmers calling themselves the VIP technical department appeared in the thread, dropping auto-voting tools that would automatically delete cookies and recast votes in a loop. I made a tool that votes while you sleep. With this, we win. The vote counts, limited by human hands, began to hyperinflate due to the bots, entering the tens and hundreds of thousands. But then, an anomaly occurred that shook the thread residents. A shadow was chasing the runaway Magnemite. It was Pikachu. Pikachu's votes began to explode at a pace far exceeding Magnemite's, climbing the graph at a nearly vertical angle. What is this growth rate? Is the admin interfering? Is it a hacker trying to play hero? Paranoia swirled within the thread. This is vote manipulation by the staff. No, it's a counter-script by anti-VIP users. One of the leading theories that emerged later was remarkably anticlimactic: a Vipper made a mistake in the tool settings. The theory goes that a distributed auto-voting tool had a bug where, instead of voting for Magnemite, it defaulted to voting for Pikachu. Conversely, sophisticated information warfare broke out, with Trojan horse tools circulating that claimed to support Pikachu but secretly voted for Magnemite in the background. The chaos was total. By the time the date changed, the total vote count had reached abnormal levels. Magnemite had crossed 1 million votes and was still accelerating. The final observed count exceeded 3 million votes. Considering the population of children in Japan, this number was mathematically impossible. It was no longer a popularity poll, it was a server load test, a DDoS attack disguised as a vote. Then, on June 7th, the Yahoo! Kids administration, viewing the situation gravely, finally made their move. Voting is currently unavailable. Suddenly, the voting button vanished, the festival seemed to be forcibly terminated. But a few days later, voting resumed. However, an insurmountable wall had been erected. A Yahoo! Japan ID login is required to vote. The Vipers had been stripped of their weapon of infinite voting via cookie deletion. But they felt no defeat. Because on the screen, the figure of Magnemite remained, reigning in first place with an astronomical figure of several million votes. We did what we came to do. Now, let's see how the admins handle these numbers. Grinning, they decided to wait for the results announcement in August. Finally, the day arrived. August 5, 2008. Traffic flooded the Yahoo! Kids special page. Did Magnemite, with its 3 million votes, take the crown? Or did the adults erase it from history? The announced rankings were as follows. First place, Shaman. Second place, Magnemite. Third place, Giratina. First place went to the movie star, Shaman. Seeing this, the Thread residents almost sighed in disappointment. They rigged it. Expected a fix. But then they looked down. There, in second place, was Magnemite. It had beaten the legendary Pokémon Giratina. A Pokémon that should have been ranked outside the top tier entirely had secured the silver medal. Furthermore, the administration kept their promise. Wallpapers for the top 3 Pokémon. Right there alongside the cute Shaman and the cool Giratina, a wallpaper of the inorganic, steel-bodied Magnemite was officially released. The admins actually did it. LOL, congrats, Magnemite. That was a classy move. The administration could have invalidated all the fraudulent votes and erased Magnemite completely. Instead, Yahoo! Kids chose a compromise, make Shaman first to save face for the movie but keep Magnemite second, acknowledging the internet's joke. The Vipers, who had been rampaging, praised this adult response, and the festival came to a peaceful conclusion. This incident didn't end as a mere prank. Magnemite established a status as the Pokémon loved by the internet. Years later, during the Inazuma 11 popularity poll riot and other voting raids in the social media era, this first Magnemite shock would be cited as a legendary scripture. It was a practical joke by adults stepping into a playground meant for pure children. But perhaps, it remains a symbolic event of an era when the internet was chaotic yet pastoral, a time when a strange game of catch could still exist between users and administrators. This has been the complete story of the internet legend, the first Magnemite shock.